Time to watch more people be helmets. Yes, welcome back to another episode of Sim Racing Stewards. One of my favourite videos to actually do because I get to sit here all cosy with my blankie and my copper tea. Give that bit of a slurp, shall we?
No.
And in this series, I take a look at your sim racing crashes hosted over on the Sim Racing Stewards subreddit to try and discern who does the big no-no and who's just innocent. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on the clips we show in this video because, well, my opinions aren't always great. I am somewhat of a helmet myself.
What?
And I've been known also to maybe send it a bit too hard from time to time. All I ask is you keep it civil in the comments, or as civil as you can do, whilst frothing from the mouth over your disgusting keyboard. On with the show! Here we are back on Sim Racing Stewards, and just before I start, I want to say how cool it is to see how much this subreddit has grown. Obviously, this subreddit has nothing to do with me. I'm just a guest who uses it for entertainment purposes, but to see the subreddit, I think it was about 18k on our first video, jump up to nearly 45,000 people is awesome. It's great to see how many people are interested in this sort of thing. So many hot takes, so little time. Speaking of hot takes though, let's start. Our first clip is a NASCAR clip, and as you guys know, I know nothing about oval because I like going in the squiggly circles as opposed to the round one. Now I think this is NASCAR Ignition. We're currently in P7 behind our friend Berserker Gang. 18 wide in front, you always know it's going to be a good sign. We're going to go through the middle, 3 wide, Dale on the outside. Still there, lifting a little bit, just getting a bit of slidey up front. Someone's been killed. Oh, the yellow, and we've just murdered the guy in front. We're out and we're over. GG, no re. So whose fault is this? This is going to come down to the a rule that I've actually spoken about before in oval racing is being predictable and moving in a predictable way, because these guys are going, you can't see the speedo right now, let me just move it so you can. We're going 198 of your finest American mile per hour. And when you do that, reaction time is fairly important. So what happens here is we go to the bottom. At this point, this is our lane. We live down here. This guy has chosen this lane. He's up here on the white line. And we're also actually slightly ahead of this guy, only just so. We're getting the call that he's to the right side of us now, but this is where it gets tricky because we go below the double yellow line here, and from what I understand, that's a no-no in oval racing, especially on the banked section, because suddenly that banking isn't there anymore. Your car does all sorts of crazy stuff, and you sort of lose control, which is not really what happens here. But the 77 at the same time of us hitting this sort of weird yellow bit has also hit us, and then we've gone off and done the big spin. Basically, it's both people's fault. One guy made an illegal move by going below the apron. The other guy just forgot that there was another car there. So an incredibly rare double helmet store for our first clip there. This one's called Fair Overtake or Not. We are the police in this, so whatever we do, we're correct. This is at Spa, inside of Stavolo 1. Bit of a lunge, but you know, as we say, it's a police move, so it's completely fine. Let's break down and see if our boys in blue are wrong this time. So we come to the corner. On the way into the corner, we are on the inside, so we are under braking. It isn't like we've just jumped in at the last second. We are alongside the rear quarter panel at this point, coming into the corner, so this guy needs to recognise that and give us a little bit of room on the inside. He actually does that. We do have a little bit of room. He does start to turn in, though. And as he starts to turn in, we, of course, who are taking a different line, start to come away from the curb slightly, causing a little bit of contact. If that was F1, they'd probably give a penalty to the guy on the inside here for making the move, but I think by the time we're ahead, this guy then decides to turn in a bit more, so I'm actually going to put it on this guy on the outside. It wouldn't be an incident that's investigated. It's not really anyone's fault, but if you were to assign blame, it would be the guy on the outside, the guy in the pink BWT car. But it's always great to see absolutely zero brutality from our boys in blue. Keep it up, guys. But back to ACC. This one is called I Feel This Shunt Wasn't My Fault as he braked too late. I'm in the McLaren. Right, okay, so we're this guy down towards the hairpin. Lambo's got the inside line. That's his move, and he's you know what? I'm going to say it is actually your fault, Mr. McLaren. You're probably thinking, why? He's just got in front of me and stopped. But you're allowed to do this. So this, whilst he went a little bit wide here, is commonly called a block pass. You get in front of someone, you slow down, you slow them up towards the apex. We're a bit before the apex here, so maybe this wouldn't quite apply in the same way. But the McLaren has seen, so if you're in the McLaren, all the way into the corner, I mean, you've seen this guy ahead of you at this point. You know he's there, you know he's there, you know he's there, and you drive into the back of him anyway. You have to question yourself with the McLaren. If you're at this situation and you're at this part of the corner, you can see this Lamborghini is going wide. What are you going to do to avoid hitting him? because it's now your responsibility because he's in front of you. If I were the McLaren, I would have got on the brakes a bit heavier and tried to tuck back into the inside here and go for the switchback. But the McLaren wanted the same bit of circuit that the Lamborghini was inhabiting, and the Lamborghini got there first. It's his bit of track. So you sort of trying to carry the speed you would usually carry is an error by you. So whilst I think it was a little bit of a optimistic move by the Lamborghini, it was your job to avoid hitting him, and you didn't do it. So McLaren, you are the helmet. What do you think? I personally think it's on the Mercedes. It's not. It's hard to explain. McLaren called it my fault. This was a realistic performance race. I love how my boy throws that in there because he's in the Williams and he's chasing a Mercedes. You have to throw that in there. Like, well, you know, I'm in the Williams and I'm a bit higher up, so can't be my fault. I love the humble brag. Right, so we're behind the Mercedes at Cota. McLaren behind us. He's got a good run. As you can have a look at the last corner. He's up the inside. His move. Right. So what? How is the McLaren blaming you for that? So we've only got one angle, which is the onboard from this Williams. So let me try and tell you the best from what I can do as to what happened there. We're in the Williams. Obviously, we're a bit slower through the corners because this is a realistic performance race, as our man pointed out. McLaren's had a great run. You can see in the mirror, just about, because my... Let me move it down a bit. Yeah, so you can see in the mirror, the McLaren's had an absolutely great run through there. He's now right on our rear wing. He's pulled to the inside. He's gone for the move. That's fine. So that's nothing against going for a move there. We've seen it coming in the Williams. We've given him the space on the inside. We've done everything we need to do. We are free from any blame. The McLaren, let me just show you something because this is important. The McLaren, look where he is right now. He is approaching the corner faster than we are on a much tighter line, and there's a car in the way. Can you guess what's going to happen next? Smashes into the side of the Mercedes, causes contact, and actually loses 2 places there from overtaking both the Mercedes and the Williams to falling back behind the Williams. The helmet in that situation is the McLaren for basically sending it into the corner too hard when he didn't need to and causing contact. I have no idea how it's anybody's fault but the McLaren. Got a lot of F1 clips today. I'm not too unhappy with that. So this one basically came with the title, Does This Deserve a Penalty? Which usually means yes. But we'll see. So we're in the McLaren. We're weaving down the straight. We have a Haas in front. In the safety car queue, so you can't overtake at the moment. You've got to just drive behind the guy in front. We're going to send it into the pit lane. We're being told to pass Rufus now. Oh, this is really interesting. This is really, really interesting because there's actually a real-life example of this happening. So what happened here is that the guys in front were going so slow that my guy in the McLaren went, I'm going to go round you in the pit lane entry, which is still part of the racing surface, or it was last time I checked anyway. And before he got to the limiter line, overtook and into the pits he went, gaining a couple of places and time on track, which I think is a genius move if the regulations of your league allow it. For me, honestly, it's just a good move. That's just a really, really good, really opportunistic move. Is it on the edge? Definitely. But if there's nothing in your league's regs that say you cannot do this, then that should be legal. That's how motorsport regs work in real life. If there's not a reg saying something and you go and do the thing, then it has to be legal for that race and they can outlaw it from then on. But yeah. You know what, Ninja Hyper, you get my fucking Chad of the video award. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Are there any non-F1 ones? Yeah, I think this is non-F1. Oh, it's Project Cars. Do you guys think the Ferrari is at fault, or is it my fault? I am in the white and orange car. Let's have a look. Also, rest in peace, Project Cars. Here comes the Ferrari. Ginetta in tow behind. Ferrari has forgotten to turn in. Rejoins the circuit, and yep, clatter. Big clatter. So, as you probably guessed now from the theme of what I've said so far, Ferrari's off the racing surface, rejoins onto the racing line, into the path of another car. Instant, massive helmet award for the Ferrari, which actually appears to be AI, the way it's turning in, but awful to do that. But I am going to throw a little caveat in there and say, if you are the driver in a Ginetta here, and you see this guy coming back onto the circuit, you also have the ability to move out to the right here to avoid him coming back on. Should you have to do that? No, you shouldn't have to do that. But the result of this crash in real life would be both cars out the race. If you foresee this guy being a bit of a f***ing helmet and coming back onto circuit in a stupid way and you avoid it, you survive the incident and continue in the race. Which you could argue is more important than being proud, sitting on the line and expecting the other guy to do the right thing. Sometimes it's just about survival. And I think the Ginetta could have maybe practiced that a bit better here. But that being said, 100% the fault of the Ferrari. That gave me Vadim Koge vibes, that did. If you know who that is, then Yeah, you understand. So this is just a check to see if I'm still able to understand what is a racing incident and who is at fault. Right, okay, so he doesn't know. That's not good. So we're behind. Oh! Oh, no! It's going to be his fault for sure. So we're in the Merc. Sorry about the audio. It sort of sucks here. Going to go to the outside, down towards T1 on Watkins Glen. T1 here is a right-hander. A lot of run-off on the left, though. We are now alongside on the outside, but it is still the Audi's corner. Yep, Audi's taking the line, as he's allowed to do. Very nice. And we've actually switched back there and then driven into him.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dear. Let's watch this again. I mean, that's on the Merc, I think. It's on the Mercedes. The Audi, from what I can see, it is hard to tell because we only get to see it from one angle, but he seems to be driving somewhat on a straight line on this curb out to here, and given the space on the inside, he can't go any further out there, so you've driven into the back of him. So that's on the Mercedes. Definitely not intentional, and people sometimes use the term racing incident as like, oh, no one's at fault, but like, I think that's what he's saying there. This is no one's at fault for this, but it's not the case. This crash would not have happened if the Merc did not drive into the back of him like he wasn't there. Intentional or not, that would be a penalty for the Merc because he's caused a avoidable collision, and well, to be honest, the penalty there is that his front end is now cremunched. Oh, look at this! A moment with Dave Cam. Oh, Davey. You're about to go under the f***ing microscope, mate. Had a moment with Dave Cam today, was wondering if anyone was at fault. This is our Factor 2 in the Alpines, which actually I didn't think was a very good car to drive, but people are loving him right now. So here is, we're on board with Davey. There's no audio here. It's through the last corner at Zandvoort. We've still got a long way left in the race yet. We're in the slipstream of the car in front. We do this to negate the air resistance, get a bit of a fast straight line speed. We go to the left here. We are now alongside as Dave Cam, so the guy on the inside has to give us a little bit of room on the outside. We've gone very, very wide. We're still out there. There's a guy still on the inside. There's contact. And the guy behind us has spun. So we've got audio now. We're on the inside. Well, you know what? I am going to say it's a hard one to say it's 50-50 because there's contact in this place. It doesn't need to be. But I'm going to watch you in comparison to this white line because you hugged this white line on the way in. So there, you're still there. You're keeping the angle, keeping the angle. Then you release the steering. We're still sort of in the corner here. And you touch and you spin.
In the bin.
Here's a bit. Actually, I haven't seen his angle yet. What's this one like? Yeah, I think Dave gave you racing room. I think you tried to come out the corner a bit too early and there was contact and you went round. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was one of those things where someone's lunging someone. I think that is going to be another definition of a racing incident where just... Well, yeah, I mean, you can see the attitude of both cars really well here. Dave is going out to the curb here. You are going out here somewhere. So, yeah. I'd put that on you if I was to put that on anybody. Dave, you're safe for now. Oh, GT7 in the box car. My favourite. Old R31 silhouette car. We're at Spa. We're defending against another fellow box. We're on the inside. We've got the lime. Drive to the outside. Nice. Now there's a guy alongside. He has the room. So we have to give him space now all the way down the hill. You can't just turn in on him. Still can't turn in. He's there. He's actually putting on us. Contact. Ah, jeez. Just about pushed him wide there. I mean, this is Eau Rouge in Radion, one of the fastest corners in the world and one of the most high-stakes corners in the world. You've already touched down here. Now, usually it's one at a time through here. We have seen people go 2x2 through here in the past. It tends to not end very well. At this point, on the left, we're actually slightly ahead. Only slightly though, but we still have to give room to the guy on the inside because he's alongside. The guy on the inside comes across slightly. There is the smallest bit of contact. You go out into the marbles and then go wide here, and it's hard then to come back from that. Another one, racing incident. It's a racing incident. Like, you guys didn't give each other any space down the bottom there. There was a tiny bit of contact, which if anything came from this guy moving over slightly, but the contact, the way he hit you didn't actually... That momentum seemed to increase going into the car we were there because of netcode. And again, netcode, for those who don't know, is sort of the position prediction software that goes into most of these games because there is lag, it's online. So yeah, no one's fault, just one of those things. If you want to survive those scenarios a bit more, if I was this guy, why not just back up a little bit, going up Eau Rouge and Radion, sit behind this guy on the right here, as you end up doing anyway, and just get a tie up to Lake Holm, overtake there. Sometimes you got to maybe just think a couple of corners ahead instead of reacting straight away. Another one here from Abu Dhabi, which I think is sort of somewhat relevant, seeing as we were just there for the finale of the F1 Grand Prix. F1 Grand Prix, the F1 season! Let's have a look. Oh, me. Let me get a better camera angle than my man's watching from a crane. What we can see from here, so De Bro, what a legend, dives up the inside. He's there now. He's definitely there. This guy turns in super late, takes him out, off we go. Or does this guy just not brake at all? I mean, what is this angle of attack? What the fuck? What is going on in this clip? I'm finding it really hard to understand, so I'm tempted to say it's this guy's fault, but the absolute lunge of this guy, I mean, he's there. So the reason why I'm having trouble discerning this one is because I'm not sure if this guy's making the corner or not when he lunges to the inside like that. The sense of speed is really hard to tell. It would be really good to have had like an onboard or something. Based on the fact there was that level of contact and the guy was able to move so easily outside of the slipstream of the guy ahead and move to the inside, makes me think the guy who was leading into the corner was just going slowly and this guy took advantage of it. So I don't bloody know. I mean, from these two clips, I'm going to say it's from the guy in the green for just ignoring the guy on the left is here completely. Obviously, it seems the rubber is on here, but he's there. He's got to give him room. There was no room given here, and there's contact. So a tough one to call from that angle, but I'm going to give it to the guy in the green car. Say, you got to look out for people around you. That's important. This one is Formula V in iRacing. Formula V is awesome. It's very, very intense racing, but not particularly very fast racing. You can see already we've joined after instant from someone called David Shoot, who's us. You're so bad, Yupu left track joined and cut me off. Wait, so which one's David? David is in the car that got taken out. Okay, so this guy in the white, I don't really know where he's going here. He just drives off the circuit. I don't think there was contact with the red car in front. It doesn't seem like there was. Just drives off. Obviously, there's not as much grip on the grass, so you can't just keep the racing line. He then starts understeering as the grass takes effect, goes onto the curb, comes back on the circuit, and we get collected, and off we go. So this is going to go in the same sort of camp as the one I said earlier on. It is 1,000,000% on the guy in the white car. At this point, though, what can he do to avoid washing out onto the circuit? There isn't much he can do. His fault started when he drove off, but from a survival point of view, if we're David here, we should be thinking about the fact that this guy he's gonna come back on track. He's gonna come back on and he's gonna cross us. So what do we do as David? Given his relative speed, we go a bit wider. We are gonna lose time. We shouldn't have to lose time because of this guy, but it's better than this happening. If this happens, then our race is over, rather than losing maybe half a second to avoiding the guy coming back on. So whilst this guy is 1,000,000% at fault, driving the line like nothing is happening around you is, you could argue, equally as silly. You have to be alert when you're driving in sim racing and in real driving for stuff like this, because it can come back and it can take you out of the race, and then it doesn't matter whose fault it is, you're still out of the race. Well, there you go. I've got through my tea, nice and lovely there. But I enjoyed, as always, our time together here on Sim Racing Stewards. As I said at the start of the video, if any of the clips you've seen you disagree with what my verdict is, then please feel free to let me know in the comments. I love to discuss these with you guys, because I'm not like an official steward or anything, just someone who's done some racing in real life, a lot of sim racing in the past as well, and I'm just going on that experience. Doesn't mean that I'm correct, and doesn't mean that I'm infallible. In fact, far from it. As always, if you enjoyed, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to as well, and we'll see you all next time for more sim racing shenanigans. Take care, have an awesome day. See you next time.